All right, welcome to Pardon the Penetration. I am Jay,
And I'm Jay.
and
Hey,
this
free tea. Free tea.
free tea till it's backwards, man. But let's not speak that onto his life. He's on vacation, and Jay is holding it down for him.
Both J's.
This week, we're going to talk about a Lithuanian man that's stole 122 million from Google and Facebook. Also, a spyware data leak. FEMA exposes sensitive data of 2.5 million disaster survivors. And can artificial intelligence be a fair judge in court?
Well, I got Facebook employees could access unencrypted passwords from millions of users. UK Police Federation hit by ransomware, and vulnerability in Android instant apps can be used to steal history and authentication tokens.
All right. Well, a Lithuanian man ran off on a plug. Well, specifically Google and Facebook with 122 mil.
How you pull that off?
He created a fake company and he started charging them for invoices that he hadn't purchased and he hadn't provided. And the company paid it anyway. The invoices were actually accompanied by forged invoices, contracts, letters, from chief executives and stuff. It was a whole intricate operation. He was pretending to be a giant Taiwanese hardware manufacturer. So
I don't know. It sounds like ask and ye shall receive.
yeah, man, I wish I would have thought about it.
I'm actually impressed. It was simple. He did everything he needed to. The only thing is what they caught him on fraud. For the
wire fraud. That is really the reason why he's going to jail.
So technically, if he did open a company in Taiwan and just was sending them invoices, would he have still gotten? He probably would have got lesser charges.
I think you have to keep in mind that he did forge documents of executives.
Or if he just put his name as the executive. Because then it's not forged. I'm the executive. I just happen not to.
No, but he forged posing as executives of Google, saying, this is approved.
Okay.
So that's where it was a major social engineering thing, and
Nice.
they weren't doing the proper auditing. They weren't double checking. They were just writing the check, cut the check, and wiring the money.
Well, speaking of Facebook employees could access unencrypted passwords from millions of users. Facebook originally disclosed that the passwords of hundreds of millions of Facebook and Instagram users were stored in plain text. This was discovered during a 2019 security review. While passwords were never visible to anyone outside of Facebook, employees outside of Facebook, employees could easily access them. There have been evidence that anyone intentionally, or there has not been any evidence of anyone that intentionally or improperly accessed passwords. There was over 2,000 engineers and developers that had access to them. Mm-hmm. They actually told you a ridiculously long and tedious way to protect yourself after this issue, which is just the normal ways to have secure your login and whatnot.
Which is to use multi-factor authentication.
Yes.
Use 2FA. You know what the best thing is? Just stop using Facebook.
Exactly. But all these things happen after their chief security officer left the company in August. Mm-hmm. They still don't have a CSO.
I know that they've been making a lot of changes, adding more people to their privacy team, and they're trying to do their whole due diligence. But if you think about it, who really wants that burden?
I mean, you could come in for the check just to get better social engineering for your fraud, and then you could ask for hundreds of millions of dollars from a legit email address.
That is still unethical.
I know. But I mean, if you're trying to make some money or you're trying to be ethical. I'm just saying. But anyway.
On this podcast, we don't support unethical, and I'm trying to keep my certifications on top of that. But speaking of data leaks, a spyware data leak is so bad that security researchers can't even tell us the application. A company that sells consumer-grade software that lets customers spy on other people's calls, messages, and anything they do on their cell phone left 95,000 images and 25K of audio messages in a database exposed to the internet. So normally this app is targeted towards, parents that are monitoring their kids, but a lot of people actually use it to spy on their spouses. Company use it on cell phones that they give out there to their employees. And at this moment, it seems like the database is actually still online, and they have intimate photos, like recordings of phone calls, like all of this is just open to the public. The reason why they can't disclose the application that is being used because they've tried to reach out to the application developers themselves. They even reach out to GoDaddy, who hosts the site, all of that, and they have not received a response. So
that means you could probably figure it out if we knew about these different apps that were available, and then did process of elimination. I'm pretty sure someone's figured out which one it is.
Someone probably has, but like I said, it because it's putting people's privacy at risk.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to disclose that information.
Makes sense.
Especially if there's intimate photos, call recordings, stuff like that. Is just
intimate photos. You mean nudes?
Yeah, man. All the news is open to the public right now. Actually,
hopefully they get encrypted, just like the UK Police Federation. They were hit by ransomware on March 9th. At least that's when they discovered they got hit. Once alerted, they responded quickly to isolate the malware before it could spread. A number of systems were affected, including backup. They were so screwed.
Oh, wow.
Email services were also inaccessible. The attack only affected the Surrey headquarters and did not spread to any of the 43 other headquarters or branches. I'm sorry.
Well, at least they did ransomware right, minus the fact that they backups took a L.
I'm just glad they didn't pay it.
Yes. Thank goodness, because you're never supposed to.
That means no one really gets arrested. There's not many records there. It's like, whatever, you had it.
I don't think cyber criminals really have a record.
No, I'm saying like the police. It's the police federation. So what are you gonna get from them? Just police records. And if no one
but
really
it's the fact that the data's somebody gonna want that data, so they just gonna sell it.
So I'll give you an example. So if I had a brand new machine with no data on it, you're encrypted. I'm like, damn, I can't play Minesweeper. Like,
okay,
it's like, all right, yeah, that. I'll just wipe and start from scratch.
Okay, I see. Yeah. They definitely took that approach. So thank goodness it worked out for them. I hope FEMA starts to utilize some sort of encryption because they just exposed sensitive data of 2.5 million disaster survivors. The U.S. agency that helps survivors get temporary housings, they set millions of them up for identity theft and fraud by needlessly sharing information with a contractor that they didn't need. So they were sharing sensitive, personal, identifiable information with the contractor, including like bank account numbers, bank account transfer numbers, their zip code, their street address, stuff that the contractor did not need.
Oh man, that's a what do you call it? That's a scammer's dream right there.
Yeah, pretty much. But FEMA did say, the contractor, wasn't compromised. No, information was compromised during the whole situation. They're calling it a major privacy incident, so we won't tweet that it was a breach. But they said, they also stated they taken the aggressive measures to close the leak and that the agency no longer is sharing information. They actually worked with the contractor to make sure that they scrubbed all the sensitive information from their contractor. And they also made the contractor go through a DHS privacy training also.
Do you think that this happened only because they were like, were they all or a majority of them were low income people that were affected or needed the aid of FEMA? And that's why they didn't think much of it?
I don't want to say that. I think it's just poor data management.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They set up a data filter to, keep necessary personal data, out of people that don't need it. But they should have already had some sort of data control policy and some sort of like management as to who was getting information. And I don't want to say it was low income people because, it did hit the panhandle of Florida.
Yeah.
And, people live in Mexico City. They look like they had money up there. So I don't want to say it was that target.
All right. Well, the vulnerability I've never used this, so I'm not sure what it is exactly, but, I feel like Trent is just, a hater to Android phones because he's Team iPhone just like you are. So he pulled up this vulnerability in Android instant apps can be used to steal history and authentication tokens. Now, apparently, Google's Instant App feature allows you to try apps before installing them. The vulnerability lies within Android's WebView component, allowing attackers to steal cookies and collect personal information, including browser history and authentication tokens. Normally, the vulnerability requires some other malware to be installed in order to exploit. However, instant apps can help exploit this as well. The vulnerability was originally introduced in Android 4.4 KitKat in 2013. It's 2019. And Google Chrome and Android System WebView 72.0.3626.81 and higher contain a patch for the vulnerability. I'm currently running 73, and yeah, I think we're in a little bit of a bubble because like at first when you read this, you think, I know you probably thought, oh, all Android users probably have that.
I feel all Androids is susceptible.
Yeah,
to
but
anything.
at the same
if you're
time,
on an
like,
Android, you're just playing with your life.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of our friends in the Caribbean. But anyway, so they also have, like, come on, man, I think we're in a bubble because people we went to school with and people we know, they usually stay up to date on
But this
tech.
affect like your grandmama, your daddy,
Yes,
like
and your friends on a burner. So I don't know too many.
You got using a burner, bro.
Let's not say, but friends in the Caribbean, you gotta send them a phone so they can call you on the Digicel. Come on, you gotta get the chip and
No,
you're good
you
to go.
send the AT&T Go phone, man.
Oh, that's what I do, but they use the Digicel chip.
Oh,
Yeah, so a lot of these cheaper phones, like the ones that just straight up cost $50, they don't Android. I've never seen them usually on the latest OS for Android. So
okay, true.
I can understand why this might affect more people than you expect because only people around us are on the latest and greatest when it comes to technology. Think about it, we kind of, I feel like we bully people who aren't on the latest. Like if someone had an iPhone 5, you'd be like, yo.
No, I'm not
everything
here
all
to
right?
judge, man. Like, don't waste your money.
Oh, no, not at all. I don't blame you because at the end of the day, if you just use your phone for basic functions, you really don't need anything more.
I don't know. They're coming out with foldable phones now.
That jitterbug, get it done. Big buttons, you can't miss them.
Definitely right. That's all you need. Do you think that artificial intelligence will be fair in court?
If it's programmed correctly, yes.
I mean, so I guess it's all about the finesse.
Yes, because I honestly, I would be okay with AI for low-level crimes, like, traffic violations maybe. Mm-hmm. Or, small claims court, so that way we don't have to waste a judge's time with that. Actually, I want to know if we would ever move on to using AI for the, immigration courts, because they're they're overbooked and they're so heavily worked, so like they don't have enough time for each case. So would AI be a good fix for that, to kind of relieve the judges of that, if they're fair and balanced?
Well, the country of Estonia, they believe that robot judges could be a thing. They actually currently use like artificial intelligence in 13 places currently right now in their government system. Like for their farmers, they receive like government grants to make sure that they have their fields cut. They have cameras, satellites that just check, so inspectors don't have to go out that much. When they have a JIT, as soon as that JIT is born, their child is already enrolled in school. So parents don't have to worry about putting them on a waiting list. And also people that are unemployed, they upload their resume to the system and they're able to match them to companies that have openings. And at least 72% of these people actually keep the job that they're matched with.
Oh, okay.
So it's been working out in their favor in Estonia, but they want to implement the robot judge for, small petty cases, like you said, small claims court, anything that under 8K. So what it basically does is me and you got beef. I upload my documents, you upload yours, and then the robot judge decides, who wins. If we feel like it needs to be appealed, it would appeal to a real judge.
Oh man, I could see that reality show on daytime television now. Dun, dun, dun. But in
like
8-bit,
Judge Judy gonna be out of a
8-bit,
job. Bro.
No, you got to redo the sound in 8-bit, so it sounds like one of them 80s video games. So they have the low, like polyphonic. Get the polyphonic tone. Like that would be the best show to watch during the day. AI court.
It don't have the same personality though.
Oh, imagine getting told to shut up by a robot.
But if I just splash water on it, it's Ove.
Hey, that's what the bailiff's there for. Oh, you really gonna mess with the bailiff?
What if the bailiff is robot too, man?
He waterproof. He Android.
Android is just no. It's a no from me.
It's a Samsung robot. There you go.
They actually use AI in some criminal cases here in the U.S. I did not know that.
Me either.
But yeah, I hope we don't go that route. Like you said, I guess it could help in some cases.
Oh, and actually, you know what? Since they're getting rid of all the low-level jobs, go ahead and get rid of those jobs too. Let the robots take a judge job. Yeah, exactly.
Well, hopefully,
learn the code, old man.
Well, hopefully they will free tea.
Yeah. You have church announcements for him aside from free tea?
No, ain't no church announcements this week. So this has been part of the penetration. I'm Jay.
And I'm Jay too. Free tea.